Hello everyone and welcome. This isn't going to be one of my usual videos. Essentially, as the title suggests, I'm just going to showcase all of the guides that I've created and that I have. And the reason I'm doing this is because a lot of people still ask me about my guides. They will ask where to find them, or where the matchup spreadsheets are, or some other stuff. In my matchup videos, in the actual outro, you can see the fact that I say that the guides are in the video description, but I'm assuming a lot of people don't watch until the very end of the video, so they won't see that. There's also the intro that I sometimes make on videos where I explain the fact that I have some guides on the Summoner School website, and people still ask about those as well. So again, I just wanted to make this video to explain it all. If you already know about these guides, you won't really find anything new. But if you did not previously know about these guides, this video will explain it all. Okay, so there is this platform called Mobafire where I have a bunch of champion specific guides. If you look right here, you can see the fact that this is a volibear guide. And on these guides, you will find stuff like the runes that I take on the champion, the items, build paths, and so on. There's even specific sections where I explain every single item on the specific character. So in this case with volibear, I explain every single item in a written format. The same goes for the actual runes. And then at the very bottom of each guide, there is an update log where I note the things that I change within a guide. You can see the fact that I've been updating this guide since season 14. And all of these Mobafire guides are completely for free. You don't have to pay anything to see them. Right now I have a volibear guide, a mordekaiser guide, olaf guide, darius guide, mundo guide, garen guide, warwick guide, and an udyr guide. And again, all of these guides are completely free. You just go on Mobafire and look them up. And I might add even more guides in the future, but there's also something else on these guides. When you scroll down on a Mobafire guide, you will find this right here where it says matchup spreadsheet. Originally, it wasn't this large, but the reason I made the text larger here and I added this is because a bunch of people were missing it, even though there's a dedicated section specifically for the matchup spreadsheet. So I decided to make it gigantic so hopefully people don't miss it now. When you actually click this link, you will be taken to a matchup spreadsheet for that specific character. So in this case, I'm going to click on the mundo matchup spreadsheet and I will be taken to a spreadsheet where I have the things that I run on mundo. You can see the level up order that I do, the runes that I take, the build path, the matchup difficulty, and then the tips and tricks on the very right. And you can see that it goes down, and it's essentially for every single character in the entire game. Even against characters like Ivern or Janna or Azir that you might not find on top lane, I still put tips and tricks here. So if you wish to check out these matchup spreadsheets, you just go on the champion specific guide and then you click on it, and then it will take you to one of those. Udyr in particular has two matchup spreadsheets because I have a matchup spreadsheet for AD Udyr, and right here on the bottom you can see that you can swap to AP Udyr. So you can check against a champion like Aatrox what I do as AP Udyr and then what I do as AD Udyr. And I try to update these guides and matchup spreadsheets as much as I can and not let them fall too far behind. What I mean by this is that I always want them to be up to date and make sure that they have the setups that I run against these champions. There's some situations where I won't be able to update everything, but this is simply because there's so many guides that I have and so many things that I need to update. Sometimes there might be some matchups that I forget about to change on the matchup spreadsheet. It's not because I don't want to give out the updated information or anything, it's simply because there's so much stuff to check. So I'm letting you know beforehand that sometimes there might be some things that aren't 100% up to date, but it's not out of malice or anything. That being said, there are some matchup spreadsheets that don't have every single bit of information. For example, right here you can see the fact that the general tips and tricks section in the Garen matchup spreadsheet is empty. You can still see the level up order and what runes and sums I take and the build path and matchup difficulty, but the tips and tricks are missing. And the reason the tips and and tricks section is missing here is because it is added to the Summoner School guide, and I will talk about those now. This is the Summoner School website, and this is a website that Alois has. You probably know him as the Mundo guy or Riven guy, and I've partnered up with him to create a few guides for the Summoner School website. Once you scroll down, you can see some champion specific guides here, like this one for Mundo, that is Alois's, or this Fiora one, Renekton, Sion, and so on. And there's 3 guides that I've created for this website. I have created a Garen guide, a Mordekaiser guide, and I have also created a Warwick guide. It is worth noting that these guides on the Summoner School website are paid. If you are to look at the Garen guide, you can see that you still have the rune explanations and the summoners and items and so on, but you also have dedicated matchup guide videos against certain champions. So for example, in this case, I have one against Aatrox or Ambessa, Camille, Darius, and so on. And these videos are only against this one character. Every single guide that I create starts with at least 20 matchup videos of this kind. So for example, here there will be 20 at minimum with Garen. My goal is to have at least 40 to 50 matchup videos for each champion that I have a guide on. And then once that happens, I would consider the guide to be 100% complete, let's say. The reason I can't immediately do 40 or 50 matchups is because I have to actually lane against those characters, and sometimes I can't find them. For example, with Mordekaiser in particular, a lot of people have been asking me to do a Yorick video, but I can't do it because I haven't laned a Yorick. So I quite literally do not have any footage, because it's not like I go on a gold account or anything. You also have some explanations in the mid to late game stages, team fighting, more added stuff than what it's on the Mobafire guide. And right here you can see the actual matchup spreadsheet, and when you click on this you will be taken to the full spreadsheet. Each guide at first has about 9 hours worth of footage. And I don't just mean against the champions, I mean like the guide in total has about 9 to 10 hours. But as I add more and more matchup videos against specific champions, that number would go to about 17, 18, maybe like over 20 hours. And this number would be everything combined. The link to my Mobafire guides will always be in the video description, or almost always. There might be some videos where I don't put them, but for the most part you will find all of them there. So if you wish to check those out because they're free, you can click on those links and you will get to the guides. And maybe you can even share them around if you'd like to spread the info. Personally, I don't care about the views on a guide or anything, I just want to share more information with people. So if you want, you can let some friends of yours know about these guides, and maybe they play one of the characters that I have a guide on, and then they can look at all that information for the character. And again, if you want to, you can also check out the Summoner School guides, though again, those are paid. So yeah, this would essentially be it for this video. If you decide to check one of my guides out, I hope you find the information useful.